get down to business.
Into the wind.
There's more! Into the fire!
Boom!
The wind knows me.
Finally,
Wind striking.
to the ferry.
Time to go. One with nature.
Terra Smash! Let's get down to business.
The wind knows me. As one with wind and cloud.
My blade! To move! To the ferry! You're open!
Time to go. One with nature. Into the wind. The wind knows me.
They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order in Inazuma. But why would they take action against... Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency?
The entire clan is counting on that food! We demand an explanation!
How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything about emergency provisions.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand?
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this!
Oh, huh? And who are you?
What? We heard the commotion and came to see what the matter was.
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps this is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for distribution. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it. We'll
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true color. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule the nation.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But why would she ever want... Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa and see what he has to say.
I've never even heard of these emergency provisions. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But either way, it's ridiculous. If I was hoarding supplies, my own family can barely get by as it is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters to attend to. And that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the Vision Hunt decree. Why would you be unworthy of your vision?
To be perfectly honest, I don't see... All I know is that I will perform certain things every month. But I don't recall... And it's not just that. I have this unsettling...
Does it have to do with the missing emergency provisions?
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself, I wouldn't be going through such hard times, right? To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders. Which is why I came here in the first... If you don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders yourself.
He seems to be tough, but we better confirm. Let's go round up those treasure hoarders and see what they have to say. We should be able to follow their tracks. They couldn't have gone too far.
Zuko, is she still okay?
We really outdid ourselves this time. All those samurai houses packed with goods. We really hit the jackpot. I mean, besides that one house.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more where this came from. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey of pillage and plunder that will go down in hoarder history.
You demand, boss!
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after. Let's...
Into the wind. One with nature. Oh, there goes all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know? Come on, boss. Think of something.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could use someone like you. Kurosawa. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just our luck. I knew we should...
So what did you see inside?
Food supplies. You kidding? That place was a complete mess. All we found was a I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was... But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal? That little...
You've got a deal. Now show us what's in the book.
Huh?
What the...
There's nothing in here, but
Yeah, a lot of them, and they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods store. We better talk to this Miss Aoi and get to the bottom. As for you guys, you're free to go. Just pray that our paths...
Yes, of course.
So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that mean we broke even?
Shut it. Let's just get out of here.
Is it just me?
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got or perhaps there's... Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it?
Whoa, whoa! Let's not get ahead of ourselves. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money? Did he buy it?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So
that's how he was getting those emergency provisions. But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the prices increased, couldn't he just buy less?
well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they... Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough, especially after such... So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than let the people down.
Wow. Kurosawa was purchasing all the emergency provisions at his own expense. And no one ever appreciated what he did.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. In the face of hardship, nobody cares to think twice. If you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies from the start, then there wouldn't be such a severe backlash now. Of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. What he was doing was... As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions and never tell anyone, if you're still curious, why don't you go ask him yourself? I see. That reminds me, it seems most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to...
Sword? What?
Oh, didn't he tell you? He possesses a... I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was a gift from his father. In hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll even provide you with the answers you're looking... Oh, but before you go, if you would kindly...
But we didn't...
Information is also a kind of... Don't worry. I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we ever discussed was explicitly confidential.
At least we now know where the emergency provisions were coming from. Plus, we found it. Let's go talk to Kurosawa again and see if he can remember. What are you doing here?
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my sword. It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders?
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing emergency provisions, but they were all purchased at your own expense.
Strange. Is that really... I don't really have any such recollection. Even after all, why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I put myself in such a difficult But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense that my body was somehow... This sword was once wielded. I remember once when I was young, I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it off to the kids next door. What did he say? It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed and said to me, "With this sword,
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some words engraved. Can you recognize the words?
virtue and justice." Somehow those two words seem to explain taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. I guess that must have been my greatest ambition after all. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased the provisions for those in need. The Tenryou Commission seized my vision, and the very people I was so desperately trying to help refused to understand me. And the irony of all of it is, I somehow still felt sorry when threatening them with my... I'm incapable of being a good person, yet I'm equally unable to be bad.
Yet another trouble. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. In any case, we must never let him sell off that sword. Yeah, seems like losing all ambition is a terrible experience. Fortunately for us, you don't have a vision. Let's go find the next poor soul.
How can I improve my confidence?
The third person who had their vision taken is supposed to be a famous sword master. Paimon heard that he's the present-day master of Meikyo Shisu. This is his dojo. Luckily, there's some people around. Let's go talk to them.
Nanako, don't worry. Sensei will be fine. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong, but he fought them all off in the end, didn't he?
Maybe, but I'm still worried about him. Things have gotten dangerous before in the past, but it's never
It's just because he's been possessed, that's all. Once the exorcism has taken place...
Hey there!
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while Sensei is impaired. Don't make me draw my blade, or you won't live to regret it.
No! You got it so wrong! We just came here to...
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about the mighty master of Meikyo Shisui art. It's the whole reason we came all this way, to seek him out and ask him to train us. But then we got here and overheard you talking about how he...
From the way you're dressed, please, accept my apologies. We've had so many people trying to... You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently, and he's still recovering. He's not able to take on... I see you are earnest in your pursuit. Okay, how about this? My fellow disciple, Sensei's name is Domon. Though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to a high level. He then proceeded to defeat many other prominent sword masters. He once said that his goal was to become the best. And so, even while training us, he continued to hone his own art. But then...
Not long ago, Sensei had his vision. He says the strangest things over and over. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think that he's been possessed by an evil But if I'm honest, I still have my doubts over whether he'll complete...
The Grand Narukami Shrine?
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. The head shrine maiden is reputed to have very close ties with the almighty shogun herself. Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one of the ordinary shrine maidens from the Grand Narukami Shrine would have clear power and authority to perform. So don't worry, Nanako. Sensei is going to be just fine. The exorcism will take place this evening. You're both more than welcome to come and watch if you're interested.
guess we should come back this evening and see for...
Shh. So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. Just now, when Nanako was attending to him, when she asked him who the people were, he suddenly... It looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looking frantically. All the while he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew. Others we didn't recognize. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's. His senior, in fact. But Sensei defeated him in a duel. Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. Thankfully, the ritual has now begun. All we can do is patiently await the result. Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water. If he wakes up, he is sure to be thirsty.
Huh? Who's that sneaking around? We won't let them get away with it! Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up? Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. Aha! Suspicious person sighted!
How? Are you sure you're Dome? Unless... I guess it's been a few years.
Excuse me? We're the one... And what are you doing sneaking around these...
Bad news? I'll have you know I trained side by side with... I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you...
His senior? Wait, that means...
Anzai? Yes. Because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated with him ever again. When we were young, we trained under the same swordmaster. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to me as a steady and... Practitioners of Make-Yoshi Sui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. So the majority of disciples are but Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go straight to our sensei and ask him, with a beaming smile on his face, how to become the best in the world. Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. Sensei said that coveting the title of the best swordmaster, barely days into his training, showed that he had a fickle mind, and that this would impede him from ever mastering the blade. I thought so too at the time, but Domon began making swift progress. Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had long since freed. He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in the world. He sought nothing less than perfection in the art of...
Sure sounds like he meant business. So how come you don't want...
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that I would succeed our sensei as the master of Make-Yoshi Sui art. Of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. I had trained the longest. Everyone had high expectations for me. Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, I lost not just the match, but my pride and my status too. I fled the dojo that day and never looked back. Later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei too. Sensei was advanced in years by then, and unfortunately, that match used up every last ounce of energy in his body. After that, I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, I still respected him. So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, my first reaction was to dismiss them as false. How could he, of all people... I decided to quietly come and see if it were true. Then, to my complete astonishment, I heard him. So you see, I came here not to cause him. Okay, you've heard my story. You should get back now.
Seems like we got it wrong this time. He wasn't here to mess up. Still, Paimon's not sure we should bring him back with us.
Into the wind.
What? You're saying he... Does that mean he's just lost his mind? But how is that
Nanako, please.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can find no sign of any malignant spirit having possessed. But spirits may take a myriad of forms in this world, many of which I cannot claim to have witnessed myself. Thus, I dare not rule out and all is certainly not lost. For I received word not long ago that Lady Yai is taken...
Lady Yai? Is that the same Lady Yai that I...
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine? That's what...
Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable indeed, and has abundant experience in the exorcism of evil spirits and aversion. I am unable to say for certain whether an evil spirit has possessed your sensei.
Excuse me, Miss Inagi, but I must ask, should we prepare...
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your timely arrival at the Grand Narukami Shrine. Lady Yai does not like to be kept waiting. I must leave now, but we will meet soon.
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself would have taken...
Do you mean to say that Sensei isn't renowned?
No, that's not what I meant at all. I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maiden. Anyway, you should join, given that you've traveled all this way just to...
Sure! After all, everyone seems pretty excited about... Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to find... Do you think that's Lady Yai? Oh, no wonder, Junior. Also, is it just Paimon? It was probably not.
Keep away. I gave up the art of the sword. Please.
As you can see, Lady Yai, Domon has persisted in this state for some time now. He appears to see those who have...
Lady Yai, it must be a possession. This is nothing like him at all. In the past, no matter what came his way, he...
I'm sorry. It is clear to me that your sensei...
But... then...
Yes. This is a change. Unable to cope with the tremendous pressure he was under, he suffered a spiritual collapse. With his wits impaired, he finally descended as one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against his predicament. It does nothing to prevent his... As for what has triggered this change, I believe it must be the loss of his vision. For to be stripped of one's vision is to be stripped of one's ambition.
Stripped of his ambition? But Lady Yai, even without his ambition, why should he suffer such a dramatic change?
Your school practices Meikyo Shisui art, does it not? Stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. What a fine notion that would be if there was once one who claimed to be indifferent to rank and reward, and who fled enraged when defeated by his junior. And then there was an aged swordmaster who was aggrieved enough. Then, what of the one who crossed blades with his own sensei and beloved fellow disciple, and defeated them both?
Lady Yai, I'm not sure I am...
The path of the sword master is filled with twists and turns. It is no small undertaking to it requires one to take their sword firmly in both hands and cut down the hopes and dreams of only a deep commitment to his ambition to become the best made it possible for him to rise above the pain of these encounters. When that ambition disappeared, he began to doubt himself. As he battled his growing anxiety, he slowly descended into the state you see him in now. Much like a certain fatally flawed friend of mine.
Poor Sensei. To think he's been suffering so greatly.
I'm sorry. It's all my fault, Father. Sensei.
That's enough.
Huh? Isn't that all? Did he follow us the whole...
Anzai, why are there two of you? Is that you? You're here for revenge, aren't you?
You're right to assume that my feelings towards you are far from... It's been so long now that I made peace with it years ago. You did nothing wrong. I don't think most of the people you beat along the way would hold it against you. On the contrary, when you cut our ambitions short, we entrusted them to you. Now I know that we can't place our hopes in you any longer. But that is no reason to strip them of theirs. Follow the way of the sword all the way to the highest peak. You taught them that, didn't you?
But what if one day, the same thing happens to them? I put everything I had into trying to become the best. But what if it was all a huge mistake right from the start? If there's a chance they'll end up like me one day, I'd rather they stay where they are now than go any further down this path.
Have you asked them what they think?
Sensei, after you rescued me from the hands of the pirates, I told myself I would follow in your footsteps for the rest. I can't know whether I will suffer in my future as you do now. All I know is that here and now, in the present, I want to keep going until the day that I can stand before everyone with my head held high and announce that I, like my sensei, don't...
Nanako's far from the only one. Actually...
Goodness.
You see? You can place the ambition you once had, and being stripped of your ambition is something that's never happened to me. So I can't claim to understand it. But I do know what it feels like to have your ambition. So, just as I once placed my ambitions onto you, you are not in the same position that I was. When I left, I had nothing to...
I'm sorry to have made you worry for me, and for the state of me. I no longer have the resolve to become the best in the world. The emptiness and suffering inside of me. But as your sensei, I shall commit to imparting unto you everything I have learned in my life. This is my promise. And I humbly ask Anzai, my senior.
You can count on that. I'd be checking in on you occasionally anyway, just to make sure you hadn't lost your mind again. But I am now used to the life of a wanderer. I do not belong in the dojo anymore, so I will simply stop by once in a while. Well, don't just stand there staring at me. Say
So even though his ambition was taken away, his disciples can take it over on his behalf.
Traveler, a moment, please.
So, the wind that blows from afar carries fresh life. For us to meet now is premature. Nevertheless, you set foot on these islands at precisely the right moment. I have high hopes for you, child.
Ooh, Lady Yai seems to have... She seems super mysterious. Paimon's... We can come back to it another time.
Time to go. The wind knows me.
Guess who fulfilled all your wishes? Huh? Ayaka! Huh?
Traveler, Paimon. It is a pleasure to finally meet you both face to face. I have heard all about how you helped our 3 friends. My sincerest thanks to you.
Yeah. Short of Ayaka, how come this time you get to
Because now that you have done the 3 things I asked of you, I consider you to be...
Wait a second. But isn't Toma your, servant? Paimon?
Oh. Paimon, you are most entertaining. Toma is for...
Oh. Okay then. Ayaka, you seem pretty different out in the open compared to how you are behind the screen.
Thank you both. Back to the matter at hand. You have now witnessed the pain of those deprived of their visions. What are your feelings on what you have seen? Perhaps in the eyes of a deity such as the almighty thunder's roar, lightning's flash, the wind's assault, and the rain's descent. All these things take place with no regard for the feelings of the common people. But I believe that surely you understand what they must endure. It seems that perhaps now you can appreciate my feelings on all of this. In which case, you will? Really? Naturally.
All right, bravo, my lady. You were right all along.
See? I told you he wouldn't reject them. I'd placed my trust in the right person after all. Now then, given that the remainder of our discussion pertains to matters of a more
Well, here we are again.
Please continue without me. I'll keep watch.
So, what's the deal with this place anyway? What makes it your favorite meeting spot?
This is land that was gifted to the Yashiro Commission by the Shogun. The Kamisato clan has the exclusive right to plan, build, and repair any property on this land. And even to allow it, such privileges exist due to the Yashiro Commission's role in managing ceremonial affairs.
Oh, Paimon gets it! Gotta keep a bit of mystery, right?
Once the number of ceremonial affairs conducted in the city began to decline, our forebears built a tea house here.
Makes sense. Perfect place for a...
In any case, we can talk freely here. The almighty Shogun. I've seen her on but only a few occasions, most of them formal ceremonies. She inspires awe, commands respect, and exudes a sense of absolute authority. But as I recall, it was her almost complete lack of any emotion. In that sense, she appeared to me to be less of a ruler and more of... The issue is this. For the vast majority of people, the vision hunt... After all, it is but a tiny minority of people who receive visions. Moreover, it is not unknown... Because of this, the attitude of most people towards the vision hunt...
How can they be like that?
Nevertheless, in addition to us, there is also the resistance on what...
Resistance? You mean like an army fighting against...
Yes. Many who have lost or fear losing their visions have rallied together under Sangonomiya. To say a little more about Sangonomiya, historically, there has always been some conflict between them, but I do wonder whether there may be some other agenda behind their resistance movement, beyond merely fight. Of course! We have tried on numerous occasions. Unfortunately, each time a proposal to repeal the decree arrives at Tenshukaku, it is promptly vetoed by both the Tenryou Commission. They invariably adopt a stance of unconditional support for the Shogun's decisions. They have no interest in discussing anything. It almost makes one wonder whether they had a hand in the Shogun's sudden decision to issue the Vision Hunt decree.
Ooh, Paimon has a question.
Oh? What?
Have you got a plan yet to fight the Vision Hunt decree?
To be honest, we do not.
What?
Please, do not forget that challenging the Vision Hunt decree is tantamount to challenging a deity.
So...
Well, for the moment, all we can do is try and... For example, by providing vision bearers with safe refuge, or manufacturing counterfeit visions for them.
You're telling Paimon that there are people out there...
Don't underestimate the talents of the craftspeople in Hanamizaka. To the naked eye, their counterfeits are indistinguishable from the genuine article. The problem we are facing right now is that Master Masakatsu, who was providing us with counterfeit visions.
Darn! So they found out about it? Ugh.
Yes. We knew it was not a long-term solution, and that it was only a matter of time before it would be exposed. Exactly. I feel the same way. But given mine and Toma's identities as part of the Yashiro Commission, breaking him out of prison would risk dragging down the reputation of... By no means do we intend to play... When you are ready, go to Hanamizaka and look for a fire...
What delicious. More interesting in the past.
There are still documents.
Sauna plan will be fine.
Just hand it over. You don't want any trouble with me. If you think your elemental powers are enough to resist the vision hunt, believe me, you're not the first of your kind we've encountered, and we've seen the same unpleasant outcome time after time.
Can't you make an exception? I just got this vision.
So this is the Vision Hunt decree in action, huh? We can't just sit around and watch things unfold, can we? Psst! Hey! Huh? Come on! What's going on? Can't... Shh! Quiet! Just sit tight and watch. Hey! This isn't right, you know! Just because you don't have a vision doesn't mean you can... Huh? Hey, what? Shh! If you don't keep your voice down, I won't have one.
All right.
Wise choice.
What should we do now? He's already this is your fault!
Many thanks, Miss Yoimiya. If you hadn't swapped me a fake
No worries. You put on quite the convincing performance.
Oh, so that's what's going on here. And to think Paimon...
Think nothing of it. I could tell from your reaction we were on the same side. Oh, right. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Yoimiya, the current owner of Naganohara Fireworks.
Practically everyone on Hanamizaka knows Yoimiya. She's the queen of the summer festival. Without her and her fireworks,
Whoa, that's quite the
Stop it, Hanjiro. You look... As for thanking me, you'd be better off thanking Master Masakatsu. He's the one that gave me the His handiwork allowed me to keep my own vision. Whew, I can't even...
Yes, Master Masakatsu is a good man. It's too bad good people seldom get...
Master Masakatsu?
Huh? Do you guys know him too? You don't say. Then it sounds like the but if I just merged straight in there by myself... So, what about...
Sure, welcome to the team. Ayaka told us to go look for help at a fireworks shop.
Seems like I finally got a new job to do. Besides hiding vision... So, Master Masakatsu is being held at the police station.
Whoa, talk about a reliable source.
Not bad, huh? Let's go as soon as everyone's ready. Don't worry, Master Masakatsu. We're on our way.
Time to break him out.
Please speak to President
I hear you've got a job for me.
Now that we're inside, this place is a whole lot creepier than Paimon imagined.
Come on, this way. As long as we stay quiet, I certainly wouldn't want to end up locked away in here. Let's find Master Masaka. We should split up. I've got a little present to prepare for Master
You sure?
Yes,
One with nature. The wind knows it.
Judgment!
I must draw.
Talk about a big door! It seems we need to collect something shaped like Magatama in order to open it.
One with nature. Clouds high. The birds come. Terra smash. Into the wind. One with nature.
Judgment!
Don't hold back. Watch your step. Show me what you've got.
Time to go.
I need to train harder.
Who goes there?
You can't run! You're toast!
Into the wind.
This wall looks a bit odd. Maybe there's some special trick to it. These guys seem a lot tougher than usual. Paimon wonders if that armor over there has anything to do with the source of their strength.
Fallen leaves. Adorn my... Quick!
I must withdraw.
Who goes
Teach
there?
me a lesson.
Soldiers, quick!
Judgment!
One with nature. Into the wind. Clouds high.
I dare.
Birds come.
Nice
I
and
must
spicy!
withdraw.
Terra smash.
I've lost.
Eat this!
Maybe this is just fate's dark design.
Doesn't that Magatama shape look pretty similar to the grooves on the door over there?
Brace yourself. Show me what you
One
got.
with nature. The wind moves. Fallen leaves. Adorn my night.
Watch your step.
Judgment!
Booba, get them!
Time to go. Into the wind.
Allow me. Strike first. Rest it. Train harder.
Yeah!